Hey, this is Hello Glass with another artist interview. Let's get started. Question number one. What is your name and are you a glassblower?
Fat Mike, yeah, I've been a glassblower 16 years.
Question number two. How long have you been blowing glass and do you consider yourself a master?
16 years. I've heard always back in the day that 10 years made you a master, but I don't think this is something that you can ever truly master.
Awesome. Ooh. Your favorite style or type of glass to create with?
Man, I have glass ADD. Like, I don't even think I have a style, because I'll do something and I'll do it for a minute, and once I've got it where I've got it locked in, I want to do something else.
What state do you call home for your glass shop?
North Carolina, out at the Outer Banks.
Do you own or work for a glass brand or under an art name?
Well, I started Sin. I sold it to two brothers out in the Outer Banks, and I still work for them, sort of as a consultant, I guess. But yeah, I work for Sin.
And you're Fat Mike.
I'm Fat Mike.
Do you make your living solely off glassblowing?
I've made my living solely off glassblowing, with the exception of owning stores or tattoo parlors on the side as a glassblower for 16 years.
If you could blow glass with anyone living, who would that be?
It's a long list.
Just throw one out there.
Smiley, Ghost, and Darby.
What style or technique of glass is hardest for you?
A lot of the new sculptural stuff, it's not that it's hard, it's just hard to get it the way it is in your head. So a lot of times you end up having to come close to what your vision is, and I'm kind of picky, so that annoys me.
Name two people that taught or influenced your glass skills.
And 16 years ago, there wasn't anybody teaching anybody anything. Like, I've worked with a bunch of people in the industry. I worked with Brian Bentley out in New Mexico way back in the day. And, I mean, I'm influenced by everybody I've ever been around, including my princes.
If there was any style or technique of glass that you will or want to learn in the future?
Getting ready to start playing with electroforming. I know that's not really blowing glass, but and I just want this. I want to up my scale. I want to get bigger.
Nice. Name two glass artists that impress you.
Ghost and Smiley.
Cool. What style or techniques in glass amazed you when you first saw them?
I did not believe that inside out work was actually inside out work when I first saw it. I'm like, no, that's pattern work and they're encasing it. There's no way you can put the work on the inside. So that's way back in the day. You know, that was one of the first things that I'm like, no, it's not done that way.
Worst injury you ever got from making glass art?
You know, I was using a Little Smith, and I had it running. I set it on my Elmar and left it running because I was just grabbing something before I do a seal, and ran my hand right across the Little Smith, and that was a bad burn. It hurt like hell, healed fine. I mean, it wasn't bad. That's probably the worst injury I've had.
What do you wish to accomplish in the glass industry?
World domination. And I'm just happy to be able to work, make a living, and interact with some of these other guys.
Nice. How does a glass fan get to see your work?
Well, we're in a lot of shops. I mean, pretty much any place that has Sin probably has some of my work, or our Facebook. Like, I'm on Facebook, Fat Mike. I think that's a good place to see it. I don't really. I mean, we already wholesale so many places. There's already a bunch of places. Like, I don't push it. Like, I don't do glass pipes. I just, my Facebook, I'll show it. If I think it's cool, I'll post up a picture.
Nice. You got 3 minutes to say to the world your piece. Go for it.
Okay. This argument's been had many, many times. As a glassblower, I consider myself to be a craftsman, not an artist. Now, you can take and put art into your craft, so you can make it artistic. But when you sit down and you do production work every day, after you've done the third slide that looks exactly the same, you are no longer producing art. That doesn't mean that you can't be an artist, I'm just, my view, when you put 110%, when you sit down and you go to build a stick stack and it takes you you know, 40 minutes because you're agonizing over this shade of orange versus that shade of orange. That's really when you're starting to push into the art thing, where it really, really, really matters, all of the fine details, and you put everything you got into the piece. But if you're just cranking out proto, that's not art.
Nice. This was Hello Glass with another real glass artist interview. Thank you for your time. Awesome interview. Thanks, Fat Mike.
No worries, bro.